Welcome, everyone. Today we're stepping into a space of reflection, looking at something familiar, wealth and poverty, but maybe through a very different lens.
Indeed. It's a path that invites us to look beyond just, bank accounts and possessions.
Right. We're talking about what it feels like deep down to be rich or poor. And you've brought some perspectives that really challenge our usual thinking.
Perspectives that suggest perhaps that the truest measure lies within us, in our minds, our hearts.
Okay, let's start there. One image that really stuck with me was this idea of two cups, a golden one and a cracked clay one. What's the essence of that?
Yes. Picture the golden cup. Beautiful, maybe valuable in the eyes of the world, but if it's empty, what use is its shine, really?
It's ornamental.
Exactly. It represents that outward show of wealth, the material side, often pursued without considering what's inside. Then think of the simple cracked clay cup.
Okay.
It might look humble, even broken, but if it holds water, if it can quench thirst, its value is immense, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. It's about function, about substance.
It points towards inner abundance, a richness of spirit, of perspective that truly sustains us. Outward appearances can be deceivingly empty.
That really resonates. Society puts such a huge premium on the golden cup, doesn't it? The visible signs of success. It makes me think of this concept you mentioned, shunyata. Emptiness. It sounds kind of bleak, maybe. How does that fit in?
It's often misunderstood. Shunyata, or emptiness, isn't about saying nothing exists, not at all. It's more about understanding that nothing exists independently.
Okay. Interconnectedness.
Precisely. Everything arises together, depends on other things, and everything is constantly changing. Impermanent.
Right.
So when we grasp onto things, possessions, status, even experiences, believing they are the source of lasting happiness, well, because they're impermanent, that attachment leads to disappointment.
So the emptiness is understanding things are fleeting, and true wealth isn't found in clinging to them.
You've got it. True fulfillment arises from understanding this flow, this interconnectedness, not from possessing the fleeting object itself.
It's like that story. Jonathan, was it? The man with the mansion.
Jonathan, yes. A perfect illustration.
He had everything, right? The house, the cars, the social media image looked like the absolute pinnacle of success.
From the outside, yes, the gleaming golden cup. But inside?
Hollow. Lonely, constantly striving, never satisfied.
Exactly. His story shows that deep inner void that can exist even when surrounded by material wealth. External markers just don't guarantee inner peace.
It's actually quite sad, I think. Many people can probably relate to that feeling on some level. Maybe not a mansion, but that sense of, is this all there is? After getting something you really wanted.
That little thrill fades, doesn't it?
Yeah. It links to that other idea, dukkha, the suffering.
Yes, dukkha. It's often translated as suffering, but it's maybe better understood as unsatisfactoriness. It arises precisely from that attachment, from wanting permanence in a world that is inherently impermanent.
So wanting things to stay the same, wanting possessions to make us happy forever, that's the root of it.
It's a major root. We suffer when things change, when we lose what we cling to, or when what we have doesn't deliver the lasting joy we expected. Recognizing this impermanence is the first step towards easing that dukkha.
It feels like we're often chasing the next thing, believing that purchase, that achievement, will be the one.
Yeah.
But it seems this path often just leads to feeling like something's still missing.
A persistent sense of lack, yes. Which brings us to a fascinating twist. What some call the paradox of abundance.
Paradox of abundance. Okay, I'm intrigued. How can abundance be a paradox?
Well, the idea is that our experience of abundance isn't solely determined by what we materially possess. It actually begins within.
How so?
It starts with gratitude, with recognizing and appreciating what we already have right now, and perhaps counterintuitively, it grows through giving, through Dana, generosity.
Wait, giving makes you feel more abundant, even if you feel like you don't have much. That does sound paradoxical.
It does, but think about it. The act of giving, even something small, shifts your focus from your own perceived lack to what you can offer. It breaks the hold of scarcity thinking and signals a kind of trust, a trust in the flow. It opens you up.
Opens you up to receiving.
In a way, yes. Or at least it opens you up to noticing the abundance already present. When you're focused on lack, you tend to see only lack. When you practice gratitude and generosity, your lens changes.
It's like training your brain to see the good. The idea of just like thinking of 3 things you're grateful for each day can something so simple make a real difference?
Immensely powerful. It literally redirects your attention. Instead of dwelling on the gap, on what's missing, you actively cultivate appreciation for what is. Psychologists even study this gratitude effect.
Really? What do they find?
They find it correlates with increased resilience, more optimism, greater contentment, better relationships. It has tangible benefits. It rewires you, slowly but surely, towards sufficiency.
It's amazing how many spiritual traditions emphasize thankfulness. It seems universal.
It is a fundamental key, I believe. Starting a gratitude journal, for instance, is a very practical way to cultivate this.
Just writing things down. Seems simple.
Simple yet profound, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. By consciously directing your attention towards appreciation, you nurture that inner landscape of abundance and that inner state. Well, it tends to influence your outer experience too.
That makes sense. Okay, another big theme was about being present, about the now. How does chasing wealth sometimes pull us away from that?
Oh, dramatically. When the focus is always on acquiring the next thing or worrying about keeping what you have or regretting past financial mistakes, where's your mind?
It's in the future or the past. Definitely not here.
Exactly. And the present moment is the only place life is actually happening. We miss the richness of our actual lives when we're constantly mentally elsewhere.
Guilty as charged. Multitasking, worrying, replaying conversations. It's easy to miss simple things.
And the invitation here is to consciously savor those simple things. Eating a meal without your phone, truly tasting it. Walking barefoot on grass, feeling the earth. Listening deeply to someone without planning your reply. These are moments of genuine richness.
They nourish the soul, as you say. This reminds me of Santosa. Contentment.
Yes, Santosa. Finding joy and sufficiency in what is right now, in what you already possess materially and internally.
So it's not about suppressing desire completely, but about finding happiness here, not constantly deferring it until some future condition is met.
Precisely. Happiness isn't waiting at the end of the acquisition rainbow. It's available in appreciating the present, just as it is. Think of that feeling. Maybe after a walk in nature or sharing a simple laugh. That's Santosa.
And the practice suggested for this? Just 10 minutes a day to sit quietly.
Just 10 minutes to breathe, to observe your surroundings, your breath, your sensations without judgment. It sounds simple, maybe even radical in our hyper-busy world.
It does feel radical to just stop.
But it's a powerful way to step off the treadmill of doing, worrying, wanting, and reconnect with a deeper sense of okayness right here.
So, pulling these threads together, redefining wealth isn't just about money. It's this inner alignment, a mindset of abundance, gratitude, being present.
It's a much more holistic picture, isn't it? Inner and outer harmony.
Yeah. And this leads us naturally to the next part, which connects our thoughts and actions more directly to our circumstances, including financial ones. The idea of karma.
Ah, karma. Another word often layered with misconceptions.
Right, like cosmic punishment or something.
Not quite. At its core, karma simply means action. Every action, whether thought, word, or physical deed, creates ripples. It's the universal law of cause and effect.
What you sow, you reap, that kind of thing.
Essentially, yes. What you put out energetically and through your actions tends to create the conditions for what comes back to you. It applies to all areas of life, including finances.
How does that work practically? The analogy of the two gardens was quite vivid.
Yes, the gardens. Imagine one you tend carefully, you prepare the soil, plant good seeds, water them, remove weeds. What happens?
It flourishes. You get vegetables, flowers.
Right. Now imagine another garden you neglect. You throw seeds haphazardly, don't water, let weeds take over.
You get not much, maybe weeds.
Exactly. Your mind and your actions are like that garden. Consistent, positive thoughts and intentional, aligned actions cultivate positive results, including financial well-being. Negativity, inaction, resentment, those are like neglecting the garden.
So complaining about money, constantly feeling like a victim,
Yeah.
that's like planting weeds.
It certainly creates an inner environment where abundance struggles to grow. Conversely, cultivating gratitude, visualizing positive outcomes, taking inspired, practical steps towards your goals,
Yeah.
that's tending the garden for a better harvest.
It connects strongly to psychology too, doesn't it? Our beliefs shape our behavior, which shapes our results.
Absolutely. There's a deep resonance there. If you believe deep down that you're unworthy of wealth or that money is inherently bad, you'll likely act in ways, perhaps unconsciously, that sabotage your own prosperity.
Wow, that quote, all that we are arises with our thoughts.
Yeah.
With our thoughts, we make the world. It's incredibly empowering, but also a bit daunting.
It puts the power and the responsibility firmly in our hands, doesn't it? Our inner world is the blueprint for our outer experience. Change the blueprint, and the building changes too.
And the story of Maria really brought this home. She didn't just wish for things to change, she actively changed her inner landscape.
Maria's journey is so instructive. Growing up with the deep sense of lack, internalizing that scarcity, it shaped her reality for a long time.
Until she encountered that teaching. What was it? You don't get what you want, you get what you are.
That was the pivot. She realized she needed to become the person who experienced abundance from the inside out.
And she started with gratitude, right? And looking at her spending, focusing on service.
Yes. It was a combination. Shifting her mindset through gratitude, taking practical action by examining her habits, and aligning her energy with abundance by finding ways to give and serve others. It wasn't magic. It was conscious transformation.
So it's really underscoring that poverty, while obviously having real external factors, can also be deeply rooted in a mindset. And that mindset can be shifted.
It absolutely can. It requires awareness, intention, and consistent practice, but the potential for change is immense.
So building on this, what are some concrete steps and practical ways to cultivate this positive karma for abundance?
Well, the first one we touched on is dana, generosity.
Living again.
Yes, giving time, energy, resources, even a smile. It disrupts that feeling of clinging, of scarcity. It signals trust and creates positive ripples. Start small, whatever feels manageable.
Okay, so Dana, what else?
Visualization. Consciously picturing your desired state of abundance, feeling the feelings associated with it. This works on the subconscious mind, aligning your energy and making you more receptive to opportunities.
Like programming your mind for success.
In a sense, creating that inner blueprint clearly. Third, adopting a growth mindset. Seeing challenges not as failures, but as learning opportunities. Believing your abilities can be developed. This resilience is crucial. Setbacks become stepping stones, not stop signs.
That ties into impermanence too. Things change, challenges arise, but you can learn and adapt.
Precisely. Fourth, surround yourself with positivity. Your environment matters. The people, the media you consume, choose influences that uplift and support an abundant mindset.
Like tending the soil around your garden.
A perfect analogy. And finally, fifth, take inspired action. Mindset is foundational, but action is necessary. Karma is action. Set clear goals, break them down, take consistent steps, even small ones.
So it's that balance, the inner work and the outer action working together.
They fuel each other. Inspired action feels different from struggling action born of desperation. It flows more easily from that cultivated inner state.
Now, you also mentioned the ripple effect and interconnectedness in terms of karma. How does this broaden the picture beyond just personal gain?
It reminds us that our actions never happen in isolation. When you act with generosity, integrity, and a positive intention, it doesn't just benefit you.
It affects others.
Yes. Supporting a local business helps the owner, their employees, the community. Mentoring someone shares knowledge and builds confidence. These positive actions create waves of well-being that extend far beyond you.
It connects back to that core idea we're all linked. My well-being is tied to yours and vice versa.
Fundamentally, understanding this interconnectedness naturally leads to more ethical and compassionate actions, which in turn create positive karma for everyone involved. It shifts the focus from what can I get to how can I contribute.
It even poses that question. What kind of legacy, what kind of ripples do you want to leave behind?
A powerful question for reflection. Approaching life with that sense of contribution adds such depth and meaning.
This has been incredibly insightful. Shifting from lack to abundance through mindset and action. But then the perspective takes another turn, looking at the hidden gifts of poverty. That sounds challenging.
It is challenging, and it requires careful navigation. It's certainly not about romanticizing hardship, but it does suggest that experiences of scarcity, difficult as they are, can sometimes be powerful teachers.
Teachers of what?
Resilience, resourcefulness, empathy, qualities that might remain dormant when life is too comfortable. It revisits the idea of less is more, but from the perspective of facing genuine difficulty.
Like the diamond under pressure metaphor. Hardship refining the spirit.
Exactly. Pressure and heat transform carbon into diamond. Similarly, adversity, met with courage and awareness, can forge incredible inner strength and clarity. It strips away the superficial.
There's that quote too, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, implying our response is key.
Absolutely. The circumstances might be difficult, painful even, but how we frame them, the meaning we make, whether we allow them to crush us or refine us, that's where our power lies.
The story of Aaron seems to embody this. growing up with very little.
Very limited material resources, yes. But instead of succumbing to despair, he developed this fierce determination.
And he found guidance in spiritual teachings, right? About embracing difficulties.
Yes, he encountered teachings that encouraged meeting challenges with courage and compassion. This reframed his experience. He started seeing lack not just as a deficit, but as an opportunity.
An opportunity for what?
For resourcefulness. He learned to barter, to fix things, to find creative solutions. He developed deep empathy for others facing similar struggles because he understood it firsthand.
And this led him to start a nonprofit.
Directly. His own adversity became the fuel for his desire to serve, to alleviate the suffering he knew so well. His poverty became the crucible for his life's purpose and a different kind of wealth.
It really challenges the narrative that poverty is only negative, only limiting. It can be a source of profound growth, developing inner assets.
Assets like resilience, creativity, compassion, humility. These are forms of wealth that money cannot buy, and that external circumstances cannot easily take away. Facing limitations can force you to dig deep and uncover strengths you never knew you possessed.
Like the lotus flower image, that's such a powerful symbol.
Isn't it? Growing out of the mud, the murky depths, yet emerging completely pristine and beautiful.
Untouched by the dirt it came from.
It's a beautiful metaphor for our potential to find wisdom, purity, and enlightenment, even amidst the most difficult, muddy circumstances of life. The mud doesn't have to define the flower.
It encourages us to look at our own mud, our challenges, our hardships, and ask what beauty, what lessons might emerge from them.
Exactly. Psychologists talk about post-traumatic growth, the phenomenon where people actually experience positive psychological changes following adversity. Embracing the struggle, finding meaning in it, can lead to unexpected levels of fulfillment.
So how can we practically cultivate this ability to find strength in scarcity, to learn from the mud?
Well, one way is to consciously embrace discomfort sometimes. Step outside your comfort zone.
Even when things aren't scarce. Like, challenge yourself.
Yes, it builds that muscle of resilience. It teaches you that you can handle more than you think. This relates to the idea of renunciation in some traditions, letting go of attachment to ease.
Okay, what else?
Cultivate resourcefulness. When resources are limited, think creatively. How can you barter, repurpose, learn a new skill? See limitations as prompts for ingenuity.
Adaptability.
Crucial. Also, practice compassion. Hardship often opens the heart to the suffering of others. Lean into that. Acts of kindness, even small ones, reinforce our shared humanity and enrich our own spirit.
It connects us.
Deeply. And always focus on inner wealth. Cultivate mindfulness, gratitude, humility, integrity, generosity. These are your true, unshakable assets. Nurture them intentionally.
Regardless of the bank balance.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And finally, celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your progress, your resilience, the lessons learned along the way, especially when things are tough. It builds momentum and counters feelings of helplessness.
It's about recognizing your own strength, step by step.
As we draw this exploration to a close, the underlying message seems clear. True well is an inside job. It's about inner cultivation.
And sometimes, paradoxically, it's the experience of lacking external things that can strip away distractions and force us to focus on what truly matters, on building that inner fortitude.
Precisely. Hardship can be a harsh but effective teacher, prompting us to ask, what is truly valuable? What strengths lie dormant within me? What can I learn from this?
Instead of just asking, why me?
Asking, what can this teach me? Shifts the perspective from victimhood to agency. It reframes challenges as potential tools for our own refinement, our own elevation.
Wow. This has been quite a journey. You shifted my perspective on wealth and poverty in some really fundamental ways.
Thank you.
There's this gentle power in seeing richness as something we cultivate within.
It truly is an inner journey, isn't it? A path of perspective, gratitude, presence, generosity, and resilience. These are the qualities that weave the fabric of a truly abundant life.
It leaves me with a lot to reflect on, personally. That sense of inner abundance being available always.
And may that reflection continue to unfold for you, revealing the hidden treasures within all of life's experiences.
Thank you again for guiding us through this today.
It's been my pleasure, an important exploration for us all.
And with that, we conclude this deep dive. We hope this conversation has offered some valuable food for thought on your own path. Join us again next time.